Today, we're visiting Moncton, New Brunswick, called the hub city for its central location in the middle of the Maritime provinces. The greater Moncton region is home to nearly 145,000 people, giving it the largest urban population in the province. It's a business and commerce center, and these days it's becoming a craft beer capital too, with multiple producers in the city and surrounding area. The newest brewery to open up shop in downtown Moncton is Tire Shack. Hi there, we're at Tire Shack Brewing in Moncton. It's one of Moncton's newest breweries, and it's actually housed in what was formerly an auto garage and tire shop of the same name.
We're about to head inside and speak with co-owners Alan and Jerrica about their beer and their story.
My name's Alan Norman, and I am one of the co-owners of Tire Shack Brewing Company. I'm from right here in Moncton, from Riverview, actually. So we grew up here, my wife and I, and we just moved back from Toronto about a year and a half ago. I moved to Toronto in 2003, and the reason was basically work. I had been traveling around. I lived in England for a bit and in the States for a bit, and I ended up in Toronto, and I was doing film and television work there. Yeah. And then eventually kind of transitioned out of that, and then I was working for the executive suites at Air Canada Centre in BMO Field, Air Canada Centre, now Scotiabank Arena. We really loved Toronto. Like, we saw ourselves kind of living there forever, but we also really loved it back home. And every time we would come here in the summer, we just fall in love with the place all over again. And then as you get older, there's a lot of great things going for it down here that you just don't really think about when you're younger, such as the beach being like 15 minutes away from Moncton. Fundy National Park's about 45 minutes to an hour drive. There's no traffic here. Like, that's so huge. The cost of living is very cheap compared to Toronto, and just people are so friendly. Like, I can't like stress that enough. It's so different here. Like, you can literally start talking to anybody and they're your best friend in 2 minutes. We only were going to come back if we knew there was something down here that we could do that we loved, and we had been talking about opening a brewery for quite a number of years. And we had a really great brewery in Toronto, like about a 5-minute walk from us. And we kind of watched them from basically renos to turning into what they became, and got to know them a little bit and just loved what they did. And we really wanted to bring something like that back home. And so we just started planning. At first we started planning it and we were like, no, it's way too much work, let's not do it. And like, so a whole year kind of went by, and then we still were talking about it. We came home another summer, and then we still talked about it. We were really passionate about it. And then we're like, all right, well, let's do it. Let's kind of like lean into this and see what happens. And then, yeah, a couple years later, we opened a brewery. So this building, this was actually called the Tire Shack. So this was an auto garage, and it was the Tire Shack for decades in Moncton. This building's been here since the 70s. And so when we were looking for a property, we immediately saw this building, and we came in. It was abandoned for 3 years, and we're like, oh my God, what a dump. Like, there's no way we can do this. It's way too much work. So we just kept looking for other properties and just hoping that something else good would come along. And we always called this place a Tire Shack, and whenever we told people about it, they didn't know like where. If we said the address, if we said like 190 John Street, they didn't know where that was. If we said John and Dominion, they didn't know where that was. But if we said the Tire Shack, everybody was like, oh, the Tire Shack, yeah. So we just kept calling it that, and we thought it would end up being like a pretty good name for a brewery. And it's always been the Tire Shack, so we thought it would be nice to kind of keep that legacy going and keep that little bit of history in Moncton.
My name's Jerrica Kennedy, and I am the co-owner of Tire Shack, along with my husband, Alan Norman. I'm originally from here, so Riverview, New Brunswick, and I lived here my whole life up until 15 years ago when I moved to Toronto, so coming back home. The opening was a pretty crazy process. The renos took about a year to complete, so like Alan had mentioned, this has been quite the project. It was an abandoned auto garage, so just clearing it out and making it 4 walls again was quite the endeavor. And then we started building it back up. So we spent about a year kind of taking everything apart, and then about 6 months building it all back up. So we just opened in November of 2019. And it was a pretty cool feeling. Like, after being in here, we did a lot of the renos ourselves with family. So after being in here every day, like full of paint and sawdust and everything, coming in and seeing customers in here for the first time was a really overwhelming experience. The decor in here, we kind of stuck with the whole I guess the whole idea was breathing new life into something that was kind of old and forgotten. So kind of like this auto garage. So a lot of the work in here was done by a local artist. His name's John Black. So all of our tables and our bar top, it was all made from reused wood. So these tables are actually made from a 100-year-old barn that fell down here in Petitcodiac. Our tap handles are made out of reused skateboard decks, and our bar top is all like strips of used wood. And then the rest of the decor in here is kind of the same. Like, we used a lot of what we found in the auto garage. So we have like old auto garage signs and like a cool old Wagner clock, and there was a lot of actual tires. So we used some of those for planters and just kind of stuck with the theme naturally.
We're up to 15 employees now. We have hired a head brewer, so I'm just kind of the guy that moves stuff around and helps him do stuff. I do a little bit here and there, but our brewer is from Rio de Janeiro. His name is Henry, and he's awesome. He's gone to 2 brewing schools, got a ton of experience, and we let him run the show, and he does an amazing job.
We started with our core 3 beers, so the Specialist Blonde Ale, Realignment Juicy Pale Ale, and the Secret Society Toasted Marshmallow Stout. The Toasted Marshmallow Stout's a lot of fun. It's a really light, easy drinking stout. It's got notes of some like vanilla and some creaminess in it from the lactose. And then when we serve it here, we serve it with an actual toasted marshmallow. So it's a lot of fun. We try to recreate the flavor of the marshmallow because marshmallows actually have a lot of like animal fats in them, and it's a lot of preservatives and stuff. So we try to recreate the flavor of the marshmallow using healthier ingredients. So the Specialist is our best-selling beer. It's an easy drinking lagered blonde ale. We call it our gateway beer. So anybody that comes in, like my dad, and he comes in and says, well, I only drink Alpine, I've been drinking it my whole life. We start them off with our blonde ale, and recently we've also done an Italian Pilsner, and we started converting people that way, so getting them into something that's got a slight hoppiness to it, still super refreshing, easy drinking. And now, we're seeing some of those customers that started with a Specialist and then moved on to our Pilsner, and now they're opening their minds up to the double IPAs. So they like those big percentage beers as well. I love stouts in the wintertime. I love sours in the summertime. I'm a big fan of double IPAs all year round. And then I like funky stuff too, like farmhouse ales and brats. Our goal is just to create new and exciting beers that we're passionate about, and using unique, fresh, local ingredients as much as possible, and kind of pushing the boundaries of what people expect beer to be. Testing the limits and doing something that's kind of unique that people might not have tried before, and giving them a new experience every time they come in.
Since day one, it's been an amazing experience. It's been really, really great. People have been awesome, and we've been having a blast. It was funny because the first day that we opened, we had the canning guys in, and so we just thought, we didn't even announce that we were open. We thought, we just open, we're gonna be here canning anyways, we'll just see what happens. And a couple of cars pulled in around 1, and then a couple more, and then by 2 o'clock we were just packed in here. We didn't even really have any staff, but we kind of made the most of it, and everyone was very understanding, and it was a blast. And then ever since then, it's just been really busy. People are very, very thirsty in Moncton. Yeah, we love it. It's great. It's awesome.
We had a great time chatting with Alan and Jerrica, and we got to enjoy some delicious beer.
We definitely recommend next time you're in Moncton, you swing by the tap room for a pint or just get some cans to go.
See you next time.